So it's time to level up your short game, and there are two key things that you should be doing when you're pitching that could transform how you hit the ball. So pitching can be a challenge and it can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. There's a couple of very, very simple moves that I like to get students to do that could really transform how they hit their pitch shots and their consistency, and then the ability to get the ball close to the flag. Because if you can get good at this, it will significantly improve your scores. Right, so we are talking about lofted clubs. Where I'm sticking here, I've got my 54-degree wedge, but you might be using a lob wedge, pitching wedge, anything like that. But we are talking about pitching and how to do it, and the two key moves that you need to be doing to improve your short game with this shot. Honestly, if you get it right, it will level it up. So the two common mistakes that I'll often see is people using their feet too much and their body not enough. Okay, so we know that when we're hitting a normal swing, or when we hit a normal shot, that as you drive and come into the ball, that right foot wants to be, assuming you're a right-handed golfer, right foot wants to be lifting forward and then driving into the ball there. Now that helps to stabilise the club face, keep it nice and square as you're hitting the ball to give you that consistent flight. But when you're hitting pitch shots, that necessarily doesn't work. So the problem that you can have is as you come forward, that right knee kicks in, that can shift everything further forward, get your hands up a little bit higher, steeper, stuff like that, and then it's going to give you inconsistencies. And the most important thing that it does is take the bounce off of the wedge. What's the bounce? So the bounce, we're talking about the angle that's created from back here on the back of the club to the front of the club. Now often on your wedges it's going to tell you what that is. So I know that on my wedge there it's a 12-degree bounce. Okay, the bounce is your friend. You need to be using that to be able to hit consistent chip shots, and today consistent pitch shots. So the two things that we need to be doing: using your body more and your legs less. Okay, so let me show you. So what you've got to think when you're hitting pitch shots is that your chest is your driving force. This is where you're going to be moving from. So you need to make sure that as you're swinging that you keep the momentum going, so that as you swing back, keep your chest moving, and importantly, as you swing through, keep your chest moving. Do not stop. Don't let the hands take over too much. The next thing is a very, very quiet right ankle. So we don't want to see that movement on the way into the ball. I don't want to see that foot coming forward, because as soon as that does, that's going to shift your hands further forward, and that's going to take the bounce off the wedge, and it's going to lead you to hitting potentially some thin shots or some fat shots. So what you need to feel is as you swing, that your chest is moving, and you're just allowing, as you come into impact, your hands, or at least the feeling of your hands, to accelerate in front of your body. That's going to use the bounce. It's the same thing that we kind of do when we're chipping. Okay, so we set ourselves up like here, simple pitch. So the club's roughly my stance is roughly 2 club head widths apart, and all I'm thinking is to swing, keep my chest moving, and my right ankle nice and quiet. There, and you can see strike-wise, that's absolutely spot on. So the club comes in, I can feel the bounce interacting with the ground, and the club sliding underneath the ball, and that's got to control, give you a nice consistent flight. You then have a choice if you want to work on flight higher, to turn around and say, if you want to hit it a little bit lower, do everything the same, and feel like you just hold the club face off a little bit. There, so you can see I don't allow it to accelerate in front of my hands so much. That's going to give you a slightly lower flight. And then on the second one, if I just allow my hands to become a little bit more active and finish into a higher position there, exactly the same swing, that's going to give me a higher flight. Both absolutely spot on. That's how you use the bounce properly on your wedge, and that's how you're going to become a better pitcher of the golf ball. But if you like that and you're struggling with your driving, and driving's really important, and you want to learn about one of my clients' success stories, make sure that you check that video out, because it can transform your long game as well.